A consultant family physician and functional medicine practitioner. So I was fortunate enough to get one of the kind of initial samples, and I must say initially I was pretty skeptical, but again, trying it just 1 or 2 nights initially, I definitely saw an improvement in my sleep. A lot of people are saying, well, was it just placebo? I then brought in my sleep monitor, and I was definitely witnessing improvements in my REM and deep sleep. So it wasn't just something I was imagining, it was something that I was actually recording. I think it's just any new technology where you don't fully understand the science, you're naturally going to be skeptical. But actually delving deeper into it and actually speaking to the inventor and looking at it from a logical sort of mechanistic perspective, it makes sense. You see, the funny thing is everyone focuses all their time and attention on nutrition and exercise, and I think a lot of that's to do with the fact that it's got a huge commercial industry behind it. No one makes money off sleep, so it doesn't get any attention whatsoever. But I would go as far as to say that sleep underpins your nutrition and exercise. What I mean by that is, if you're not well slept, you can have the best diet in the world, you can be training regularly, but you're not going to be in good health. Whereas if you're sleeping well, you've got a lot more flexibility with what you can get away with your nutrition and lack of exercise. I think what COVID's highlighted is that a lot of these people who probably perceive themselves as being kind of healthy in a traditional sense, or not sick, I should say, have suddenly been hit quite hard. And I don't think we've really seen that before with any sort of disease or illness. So I think people are starting now to obviously pay attention to actually prevention and optimizing health and looking at things they probably never would have done. I think the traditional approach is just to wait till you're sick before you intervene. So naturally people have kind of reevaluated and are prioritizing that now. So, I mean, the funny thing about sort of medicine and science, everyone looks at it on a kind of biological level, but I think people miss the point that actually what's happening at the root of it all is on a kind of quantum level. What I mean by that is there's all sorts of energy and frequencies going on, and interestingly, ancient sort of societies have spoken about things like chakras and energy points on the body. Okay, they didn't know how to explain it, but now we're understanding the science, we can measure it. And something like the Sleepergize is, allowing you to improve or develop the right sort of frequencies which will correlate with better sleep. Yeah, and so again, a lot of these things, they didn't have an explanation for it, but I think it's really in the last probably 20, 30, 40 years that the science has started to explain it. The funny thing is people talk about placebo effect, and that's almost like a kind of excuse or when we don't understand the effect of something, we'll call it placebo. I think this is a prime example of that. And often you just have to look to see what's survived the test of time, i.e. what people have been doing for generations before us. And they're usually the most beneficial things that are going to improve your health. And sleep and chakras, fasting is another one. These are all things that we've forgotten in the last generation that we're kind of almost, well, we feel like we're reinventing, but they've been there all the time. Yeah, so I think there was 2 aspects to it. There was the sort of qualitative, where I just felt that I was sleeping through the night. I mean, with all the hacks that I do, I just don't sleep very well. I'm naturally a light sleeper, but I definitely felt that I was sleeping through more and then kind of was feeling better and had more energy in the day. And then when I was kind of quantifying it through my sleep tracker, I was seeing that I was getting longer periods of deep and REM sleep, and then also at the same time my recovery was better. So it was through multiple different angles. %100%. I mean, coming back to what I was saying, I think sleep is more important than nutrition and exercise. I know that's controversial, but whatever you can do to hack your sleep, and it is tough because of the lifestyles that we lead, there's a number of different variables, but if you can grab whatever you can to improve your sleep and give yourself a kind of non-negotiable 8.5 hours of sleep, And if Sleepergize is going to help that, then 100%.